right, we are streaming. This is the first stream that is coming through the new internet connection. And we're just waiting for Amazon to come up here. And we are live. How about that? So hopefully this looks okay. I'm just going to do like a little cut here because I am now, because I have a faster upstream connection, I can now do 1080p to YouTube, which we weren't doing before. And I thought, because I've been working so hard, that we'd take a break from everything going on in the world and play some Star Wars. And I bought this thing a while ago. I'm going to select it up on my product thing so you can see what it looks like. This is a kind of a lower cost setup here from Thrustmaster. I bought this like a long time ago. In fact, I hadn't used it. I don't know why I even bought it when I bought it. I think I was planning to review it maybe, but I found it in my equipment room. And this is a lower priced throttle and stick set. It's not as good as some of the other ones, but I'm not playing Flight Simulator with this. I'm kind of just using this for Star Wars. And so I was playing a little bit of the new Star Wars Squadrons game last night. And I was like, you know, it's fun on the gamepad, but I'm having a hard time. The way they want you to play is with two sticks. So like this is your throttle and your steering, and my brain's just not registering with that. So I think you need, for the best experience, to have the throttle and stick. So that's what we're going to play with here today. And what I thought might be fun, because I have my fancy new connection now. Yes, it is in, everybody. Folks are asking about here. I'll pull up some of your comments here and answer a few of these. Let me get my vMix social thing to work. So yeah, we got the connection going. So we are now running at full speed. And I thought what might be fun, just to demonstrate like how fast it is. It's funny. So I went from having no bandwidth upstream. I had 12 megabits per second upstream. Now I have, I'm paying for this, but I have two connections, up and down, of course. The one we're on right now is the 2 gigabit symmetrical. So I'm sending video to you on YouTube at 6 megabits per second at 1080p. I could go higher. I got to play around with it a little bit. So I should look better on YouTube now. And then I'm sending video to Amazon like I was doing before. And I'm using nothing, right? So this is 10 megabits I'm sending upstream right now. No big deal. And I have another, 1,980 or 990 left to go. And in addition to, I'll show you the, let me show you what they hooked up. You might be curious about this. So let me get my NDI camera going here and I'll show you, and then we'll go and download some stuff. And I have not yet downloaded the game to this laptop. I installed it on my gaming PC upstairs a little while ago, or last night. I was playing around with it. And I purposely thought you all would get a kick out of watching me install this on the laptop, just to show you how fast this stuff goes. All right, I'm going to go into the closet and show you what this connection looks like so you can all see it. And then we're going to get started. And I'll probably come back and show you again. Now, please pardon my cable management. It's a disaster. But this is what they brought in yesterday. So this is the Juniper thing, okay? And all these red lights are fine because I'm only using this connection. See this orange cable here? So that's what I'm transmitting out through. Actually, that's what goes from the local network to the Juniper. So this orange is local, and the yellow is coming in from the fiber that's terminating into this little radiant thing here. And so the laser inside of this little adapter is sending the signal like 15 or 20 miles over to the cable head end. And what they told me is that there's nothing in between me and the head end. So if we have a power outage, nothing happens to me because I have a backup generator here. They have a backup generator there, and it keeps going. So I have no equipment between me and the head end. So hopefully this stream will be super solid, and that will be it. But it's a monster. I mean, we're not even using anything on here. Now, this orange one is my 2 gigabit connection. This is fiber. I could have run directly attached copper, but they they said, oh, we'll give you some fiber patch cables. Use the fiber. So this is my switch. This is the UDM Pro from Unify, and in full disclosure, they sent this to the channel free of charge a little while back. So that links up to the router. That's my WAN input there. So we have fiber from the street, fiber to this orange cable, and then it goes out over the network. Now I've got a direct attached SFP Plus that goes up to this 5 gigabit switch, or 10 gigabit switch, excuse me, so I can get the full power of my connection, because if I don't have multi-gigabit stuff attached, I only get a gigabit, and I have 2. Now in addition to the 2, I have another one right here. So this plug right now is unplugged, but this is a whole nother gigabit symmetrical connection, and it's a total of 3. So I have 1 here and 2 right there. So total of 3. So I haven't even figured out what I'm going to do with that part yet. So we have a lot. And the fiber is that black cable right there in the middle coming in. And it's just 2 little strands. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's the scoop. So hopefully so far the stream has been working, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, so I can do a lot more than I can at the moment, and it's just I just need time, because there's so much stuff. I'm just looking at my screen here. There is so much stuff that I have to review that came in that I got to get all that stuff done, and then as things start slowing down, we will figure it out. So yeah, we're going to get there. I'll take a few questions here, and then we'll kick things off. So Rob Hanks is asking, when are we going to get the 1440p 60? Maybe one day soon. We're actually, what I'm thinking about is going up to like 4K. So that'll be kind of fun when we do that. Chuck wants to know what my wife thinks about that closet. She doesn't know what's going on in there, and she's going to let me have this. This room is mine, so I'm given this space. Otherwise, I will mess it up, as you saw in that closet. Matthew Stevenson says, looking forward to the 4K content. And yeah, that's something I'm looking to get to at some point. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And some folks want a speed test. You know what I could do real quick for a speed test? Let's try it. I don't think it'll interrupt the what we're doing right now. Let me see if I can connect to my router real quick, and we can do a quick little speed test. And then we gotta get moving, because my kids are out for a little bit, and so I figured we'll have a little bit of fun time here, and then we'll go back and actually, you know what I'll do? I will connect to it from yeah, let's connect to it from here. Let's see if I can get it going over here. Bear with me for 1 second. I'll try to do a speed test for you, and we'll give this a shot. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we can do it here. Okay, so let me go to my network, and what I'm going to do is run it off the router. So that'll give us the best, kind of the best look at what we can do. My router does speed tests, and we'll connect my little Mac here. By the way, I ordered that new Microsoft Surface Go laptop, which is a little 12-inch Windows machine. So I'm eager to try that out and see how it works. All right, bear with me for a second here, folks. Here's my vMix capture is up. And let me go and click on, yeah, I think I can just do that. So let me add this input, and then we'll take a quick look at the speed test. But so far, I think the stream is working okay. So let me know how it looks as we're getting this new connection going. And I'm going to click on display 1, which is the Mac. There we go. And yeah, so let me do a quick little speed test here. So this is the speed test right now. So that's the downstream. And this, again, is only on the 2 gig leg. And that's the upstream. Isn't that crazy? It's insane. It's like bursting higher than 2. And I'm only using 10 right now to do this stream. Isn't this crazy? So there you go. And I still have another gig on top of that. So yeah, I'm happy now. And I'll tell you already, it was better. Because this morning, so tonight's video is going to be about the Amazon Fire TV stick. And I was going through it, and I had already uploaded the video, and I was just getting the index ready, and I noticed something just didn't sound right in the video. I'm like, you know what? Normally I would have said, it's bad, but I don't want to go and upload for another hour, because I send stuff to Amazon, I send stuff to YouTube, and it takes forever to upload these videos. It's not that I have to babysit them, but the Amazon stuff, you have to upload it because you can't put the thumbnail on until it gets into their system. So after all that stuff got uploaded, I was able to say, you know what, I could fix this now, because it went from, I kid you not, about an hour to upload a video to 90 seconds. I mean, that alone is just huge. And I've got to now run Ethernet everywhere, because my Wi-Fi is, you begin to realize the shortfalls of Wi-Fi connections. So it's crazy. So yeah, it's good stuff. So I'm excited. JGA asks a question that is good too, because we're going to, are we going to do 4K streams? Yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to probably wait a little bit. I've got a bunch of reviews I want to get done. And then when I get caught up, and I always say this, when I get caught up, which I never do, when I get caught up, I'm going to redo a little, not like change the set, but I'm going to change a few things that have been bugging me. And one of those will be getting all these cameras to output at 4K versus 1080p, and then we'll start doing 4K for streams and for video. So that's what we're going to do there. Anonymous wants to know from the Amazon chat, what sort of video am I uploading to Amazon? So I upload my product reviews to Amazon. So if you go on any of the products that I've reviewed on YouTube, if you go to Amazon, you'll find the products there that I reviewed. And by the way, if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can click the link and be brought over to Amazon's live stream, and you can follow me there. And we sometimes have little coupon deals and stuff that you can do. So that's a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do here is, and this is very unwieldy. By the way, this laptop looks like it's on the edge of the desk, and it is, but most of it is secure. So don't worry about it falling off. We're going to be okay. And what I was going to do here real quick was just show you how fast things download now. So let me go over to the games that I've got here. We're going to find Star Wars Squadrons. So I bought this on Amazon, actually. You know what's funny? You may not realize this, but if you have an Amazon gift card, you can buy a lot of the Steam games on Amazon with your gift card, and then they'll send you a code. That's how I bought this one. So I'm going to install this on this computer, and we're going to put it on my D drive here. Let's see which one I have. Yeah. So I'm just going to put it on my D drive here. And watch how fast. Now, one thing I noticed with Steam is that it maxes out downloads at a gigabit. So even though I had 2 gigs, and this computer is only connected up at a gigabit Ethernet right now, but it'll soon tell us, I believe. Yeah, if you look in the left-hand corner, you'll see the speed. So last night, even though I had a 10 gig connection upstairs, which would give me more than a gigabit download speeds, it kind of maxes out at around 100 megabytes per second over the internet. So right now it's downloading at 55 megabytes per second. And that's what happens too with this, is that it almost reminds me of when I was in college for my senior year. We got the campus network going, and you think, oh, everything's going to be super fast everywhere. But the reality is that you end up in a scenario where not every server you're connecting to can communicate with you at that speed. So even though you've got all this bandwidth, it doesn't mean you're always going to get the full bandwidth everywhere you're going. So you can see we're probably running at about half a gigabit right now as we're downloading the game. But it's still going to go a heck of a lot quicker. We've already downloaded 4 gigs. And you can see now it's starting to ramp up. But last night, even though, like I said, I could have gone to 2 gigs, it was only hitting about a gigabit off of the Steam CDN there. So you will not get 2 gigs everywhere, but you still have a gig left to do other stuff, right? So that's kind of the deal. So we'll take some more questions here. Rob Hanks wants to know what company provides that. This is from Comcast. This is their Gigabit Pro service, and you have to call and ask for it and then hope that you can get hooked up to it. And I was lucky because there's a fiber splice point at the end of my road, and they were able to hook me into that. So it's expensive. It's like $300 a month, but it's really good stuff. Mario here wants to know what HOTAS model is that. This is an older one, and if you go on the Amazon page, I will link to the current version of this. This is the Thrustmaster T-Flight. Now this one is the T-Flight HOTAS X, but the new one is similar. In fact, it looks exactly the same, except this one was designed to work with the PC and the PS3. In fact, there's a switch here to go back and forth. But of course, the new current systems are Xbox One and PS4. So there's a version of this for the Xbox and for the PS4. And I believe both have the switch here to work with PC. So that's what this is. And this is, I think, the lowest cost one I could find. There might be cheaper ones out there than this, but it's pretty good. I haven't actually used it for anything yet, so that was what I wanted to play with today, was get Star Wars installed here and mess around with that. But we're almost done. So this game, by the way, is 27 gigabytes, and we're downloading right now off the internet about 85 megabytes per second, give or take. But last night upstairs, I was pushing 100 megabytes per second when we were downloading last night. And it's just a matter of like how much traffic there is and what CDN they're routing you through. So there's all of that. But yeah, this is so much better. I can't even tell you how much better it is. And I never was really that concerned about the download speeds, because I actually was pretty happy with my download speeds where I've been, but the upload has been really the big issue. And we had 2 issues with upload specifically. One issue was, I'm going to download some drivers for this too. One issue with the uploads was the fact that they were slow. So the most I could get was 12 megabits per second. Hence, every video I uploaded took about an hour to get up to where it needed to go. And we upload to a lot of different places, so we have to upload over and over again, even though it's the same file. So we had that issue. But the other issue I had was one of stability, connection stability. And the way that your cable modem works is that you're sharing a wire with your neighbors. And when you're transmitting upstream data, the timings are very sensitive. And so they have something called time division multiple access. I believe it's called ATDMA on the cable system. And so when you go to transmit data, your cable modem has to wait its turn before it can send data upstream. And this happens super fast, so you don't really notice it. But if you have interference when it's your turn, then you have to cycle through to the next one. And when you're sending UDP packets like we're doing right now, you fall out of sync and your connection gets dropped and you have problems. And that's what I was running into, was that we were having interference issues because, of course, Comcast coax cable is analog. Now, the connection I'm on now is fiber optic. And so as I mentioned before, my signal here now is going 15 or 20 miles directly to the Comcast head end over fiber optic cable. And I have this frequency spectrum, or this spectrum of light, on the fiber that's all mine. So I'm not sharing, even though I might be sharing the wire with other different spectra of color on that fiber pair, I am essentially a dedicated connection to the head end. And in many ways now, my house is kind of like one of the nodes that would normally serve multiple customers. And so that's what I'm paying all that for. So that's what we've got there. And in case you're just tuning in, we are just downloading the new Star Wars game onto my laptop here, and we're just answering some questions. Rob wants to know, does my speed drop through a VPN? Yeah, it'll drop. There's some overhead with that. and Jake is going to connect up with me. However, the speed drop is less than what his connection is. So he's got, I think, like 20 up and 400 down. So he'll be able to download at full speed for his connection, even though he won't get the full 2 gigabits if he was connecting to me directly. I did set up a little link here to download some drivers. They have some firmware and drivers for this. And like I said, I bought this years ago and I never hooked it up. So I'm going to grab the firmware for it real quick and just install the driver package and the firmware. Although I'm not sure this is for mine or not. Let's take a look at the release notes here. Yeah, this is not for HOTAS 4. And this one is the HOTAS X, which is an older version. So I suspect I don't need the firmware. So why don't we just plug it in and see what happens. They also have they just uploaded this today. I'll pull up the image here so you can see it. They just uploaded some mappings here so you can see exactly what you're supposed to do with it. So let's see what we get here. So we're going to just plug this into the side there, and we'll wait for the drivers to install. And I guess I got to turn it on or something? I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't really used this at all, but the little light went on. So I'm guessing it was detected. Let's take a look and see if it found it. So it's not showing up as an X input device, but I wouldn't expect it to necessarily. Let's take a look at the control panel here. There was because when I was playing with this last night, I plugged it in after I started the game. I was like so excited to get into it, and I was doing the VR. So I didn't really spend some time trying to figure out how to get all this connected. But in the control panel here, there is a game controller thing. Yeah, so it's showing up. So if I look at the properties here and I move things around, it is picking up. So that's the throttle moving there. And then you can see the thing moving there. And then there's a little hat on the top as I move that around. So it's been fully detected. So that's good. And then I just have to figure out what all these button mappings are doing. But you can see how that kind of works. Charlie C. just joined us on the Amazon chat. Hello to you. So there we go. Okay, so I think I've got that kind of figured out. So we know it's working and was detected, so that's a good sign. So we didn't have to install any drivers. And I think I had turned the volume down on this because I didn't hear it like beep at me. Oh, I see. It's going to my encoding box. So we'll have it go through the speakers here. Oops, wrong one. Okay. And I'll pipe audio through when we get started. Unfortunately, when you play these Star Wars games, you get hit with copyright claims and stuff, so we got to keep an eye on all of that. And by the way, I see some super chats coming in, so I want to acknowledge those real quick before we move too much further here. So T-Dub sent over a super chat. I want to thank him for that. Let me send this to... so yeah, he's got 1 gig up and down, which is awesome. And I believe we just got in another one from Wira Kuhan. So thank you very much for your super chat, Wira. So yeah, we're in good shape. Tech Flood, you just missed the whole tour of the fiber, but I'll do another one before I get done here. Mario says, I never thought Comcast would go truly fiber. They actually are all fiber, except to the home. So most of your Comcast network is fiber on the pole, and then they attach each house through coax cable. So they do have it, and it's just you pay a lot for the service. All right, so we're going to go and boot the game up. Now we're not going to do VR just yet. We're going to do that in a little bit. But what we're going to do first here is load the game up and see if we can get the flight stick here to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead here and just play the Star Wars Squadrons normally. And I already started the single-player campaign. So I think I should be on like my second or third mission. So we'll check that out. So we'll go ahead and hit that, and it looks like it's all loading here, which will take a few minutes. Clifford Gallagher just got on and says, where'd you get the game? So this game's $40. You can get it on Steam. And I have a link in the Amazon, in the description to Amazon, where you can buy it there on Amazon. And what's nice about Amazon and Steam is that if you have a gift card, which I did, you can buy it on Amazon and then load it up onto your Steam account, which was great. So it's good stuff. Russell Lishard is asking about the hardware requirements for the Star Wars game. I think it's not bad because it's the same engine as Battlefront 2. So if you have a computer that can run that, you should be in good shape. And of course, there's a lot of different settings that you can apply. So I think it's going to be pretty kind on settings. And by the way, you're going to hear the fans running on there. Pretty loud on my little gaming laptop. This is a Lenovo Legion Y740, which has been replaced by the Legion 7. So this has an RTX 2080 Max Q, and then it's got 16 gigs of RAM and a 6-core i7 inside. I bought this last year around Christmas time. I got a good deal on it. It's a nice machine. And by the way, if you happen to come across the older, so right now the new models are the Legion 5 and the Legion 7, but if you happen to come across the Y540 or the Y740 from last year, these are still very capable machines. We reviewed the new ones. They have some nicer, creature comforts and stuff, but by and large, from a performance standpoint, they're very similar. And we're just waiting for the game to load up here. This is a first load, so it's probably taking a little bit for it to come up. So we'll give that a minute or two to get going. And then we got to figure out how to use these flight controls with it. That's going to be the fun part. And then, after we get the flight controls figured out, we're going to attach the other stuff to it. Now, I wouldn't be a gamer on YouTube without a green screen. So I'm going to take out, for the first time ever on this channel, this green screen that's been sitting here. Look at this. I can just do that. All right. Okay, so now we got the green screen up. I probably have to move over here, which is going to be a little difficult. Now, what I can do is I'm going to create a virtual input on my vMix, and I'm going to crop this. So let me select this. You're going to watch me do this in real time, because the game is still loading for some reason. I don't know what it's doing. All right, so now I'm live on this scene, right? So we're going to take my thing here. Mildred's here on Amazon. First time checking us out. Cool stuff. Excellent. Well, welcome to, is it Mildred? Yeah, Mildred. Welcome to Amazon. It's great here. I like streaming to Amazon. So we're going to go over to Color Key. This is on my vMix system right now. And I'm going to select with an eyedropper here. I'm going to select a color, which is my green screen. And oops. So I just selected it, but it doesn't seem to be working. Select the same color as the key. Give me a second here, folks. We're going to figure this out. Ah, there we go. That's a nice clean key. Okay, so now, or clean as can be. So now what I'm going to do, now that I have this, I'm going to crop this a little bit. So I'm going to crop out this side. So now, like, I'm totally transparent. So now I've got myself kind of like just like this, right? So now, here, let me show you my screen so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to go to Desktop Capture, Display 1. I'm doing this all in real time, because I'm just curious to see how this works, okay? So we're going to go hit this thing. That game is still loading. I don't know what's going on there. See how it's just kind of sitting there? All right, so here we are. And now I'm going to create a new blank thing here. And then we're going to put in as a backdrop. This is on vMix, by the way, in case you're wondering. So we're going to go to, and this is all real time on my PC that runs all this stuff. So, oh, hit the wrong button. So we're going to go here to multi-view, and we're going to set the background as the computer. which is this NDI source, and then me is this one. And then what we can do is I can zoom me out a little bit here and just move me. And now I'm like an official gamer. I can do this. Isn't that cool? So now I'm an official gamer. I've got the green screen all set up. I should save this. Okay. And I'm keeping the sound off just momentarily. So here we go. So I'm going to select this, and there you go. I'm like a total gamer now. This is fun. Okay, so, and then I could change the background if I wanted to. I could do some cool stuff like that. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to look at the camera, or I guess I have to look at the screen because I'm playing the game, right? Is that what you do? So let me know how this works. Armin just posted a cool little image on Amazon Chat. I didn't even know you could do that. That's pretty cool. All right, so I think what I want to do first is get my controls configured. So let's hit Escape for Options, and we're going to go over to Controls. And let's see, if I can change the... So I don't know how this is supposed to work. Well, you know what I could do? See, I'm like the worst guy you want to have doing a gaming video because I don't play games like I used to. Multiplayer and training. Let's do a quick match here. I'm going to go to Practice. Be New Republic. Okay. And let's see if this HOTAS thing works. So you can see my, I got to get this controller in view here. So you can see my, my throttle here. Let me get it positioned better. This actually works better than I thought it would. Pretty cool. Okay. So TechFlood asked the question also while we're waiting. Now that I have the fiber installed, do I keep the cable modem? No, they actually, it was funny because the guys were here on their VPN through my connection getting things set up. And the second that they activated the Juniper fiber thing, it just took the cable modem out. It just like immediately canceled service. They were surprised by how efficient their own systems were. So it's funny how that works. And yes, I am using vMix, in case you're wondering. It's great software. You know, it's kind of like OBS and stuff, but but you pay for it, so you have a little bit more of a value add there. Sten Isaacson says, now that you have, I need a gamer chair. Yeah, I need all the other gaming accessories, so we got to get all that in there. And Jeff does make a good point here that it's amazing what 20 years will do. I mean, I can't even imagine, even 5 years. You know, because I was looking at getting a new TriCaster, and as it turns out, I could do this on a PC that I built myself. So this is basically a run-of-the-mill gaming PC. And what I'd love for you to look at here, look down. It may be hard to see on the stream. Less hard now that I'm streaming at 1080 finally. But if you look down there at the bottom, it tells you the system resources. So we're using like nothing. I still have 90% of this PC's capabilities available to me here, which is remarkable. And then if I pull this up, you can get a feel for, you know, so this uses the GPU. And this is a GTX 1080 that I have. And so even for all the things, now granted we're not playing the game on this computer, but the GPU utilization for this live stream right now is just 10 or 15%. It's very minimal. And you can see we're pushing about 11 megabits upstream. So it's good stuff. And then I can also look at my encoders. So I believe I have 2 or 3 video encoders available. So that's video encode 1. Let's see if we can select video encode. Yeah, so even like the encoding is not eating up that much. And I'm encoding two different streams right now too, because we have the Amazon version and the other one. If you're curious as to what controller I am using, this is a HOTAS from Thrustmaster. This is the T-Flight. This is an older one. The newer one looks a little different. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. But it's pretty cool. You get like a throttle. You can attach these two together or detach them. So I have them kind of detached right now. And you get all these different buttons. And I think this is a good pairing for this Star Wars game. So we'll see exactly how well this does here when we get going. All right, here's a challenge, everybody. Andrejus Antonovas. Let me know if I got that one right. All right, so here we go. Handquake, who's been following my, my trials and tribulations, I'm freaked out that you're just rocking everything after months and months of saying, don't jinx it. Yeah, I know. It's amazing that it's all here. It's funny. It was like after the stuff got installed, I'm like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? All right, so we're going to fly the X-Wing real quick. And let's see how this, oops. All right, how do I fly here? Okay, so I select for launch is 1. That's 4. All right, there we go. Primary weapon. So there's some, you know what's funny about this game? There's so much depth to this that I didn't realize. I thought this would be a lot like, I got to find where all my buttons are. All right, let's see if I can. This is how bad of a gamer I am. I don't even know how to get started. Select for launch. Yeah, I want to fly this one. All right, so that's close. 4 is edit loadout. Okay. Oh, so it actually is numbered. So on the controller here, there's different numbers which correspond to what we're doing. All right, so we're going to go back, and now I want to select that, back. Okay, so how do we? So this is button 1, which I'm hitting, but it doesn't seem to be. Oh, okay. So I have to hit launch and practice. Let's see. Yeah, this is how bad I am. I can't even get the game to start. So launch and practice. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. We're going to give it our best shot here, everybody. And then we'll get the VR going. This actually got configured faster than I thought. All right, here we go. This is exactly what I was looking for. So here's what we can do. So the HOTAS controller here, so you can do your spins here like this. By the way, this is so awesome in VR, I can't even tell you. And then we can kind of fly with the throttle here. Although it doesn't seem like the throttle is registering at the moment. Let's see. So the engine speed is over here. Let me get out of the way here. So that's the boost. That works. But I'm not able to stop moving yet. So why is that doing that? Let's see. Already full. Okay, I think I just fired something off here that I'm not aware of. Okay, so now this is so you can balance your shields. So you have, so the green one is the shields. The blue one is the engines, and you can vary your, what you're doing there. The problem I'm having right now, though, is that the throttle is not registering. And then you can kind of go to balanced, and then this is your weapons. So I could kind of do one of these deals here and do like a little loop-de-loop thing. So we got to figure out why the throttle isn't registering here. So let's go over to the controls. So how do we move the practice menu? Oh, this is kind of neat. So you can just kind of play around in a sandbox mode, which is nice. But let's go over to controls and figure out why we're having some issues here. So let's go to customize controls, which is button 4. And let's see if we can find why the throttle isn't registering. I got to play around with this a little bit more. So the good news is the controller is working. And like I said, so the reason why I wanted to play around with the HOTAS today is that when you're using a controller, you're kind of mixing things together. So you saw as we were kind of rolling here, we were able to roll just by twisting the controller. And last night when I was playing, I was having to roll here but turn with this one. It was just getting really confusing to me. And I think part of it is that I'm 43 years old. Okay, I've been playing. Oh, it's back there. I got the old Star Wars games I would play with my Atari joystick and stuff. That's how I'm used to playing this kind of thing. So I needed to figure out like how we can get all this to work. So now what I've got to do here is go to controls and see if we can figure out where the throttle. So these are the keyboard controls. If I go to customize, so there's always something. Flight stick. Okay, we have the flight stick. Vibration, controller yaw, throttle dead zone. So it's 0% dead zone. So these are all just kind of the sensitivity options. But if we go back here, you can see as I'm moving this, we're not actually able to get and this is controlling like my boost and stuff. So I'm braking here. You know what it is? I think it's mapping the wrong thing. So there's a control on the front of this. Yeah, so it's mapping it not to this movement, but it's mapping it to this. So check this out. If as I'm moving this, you can see, I'll pull up my thing here. So you can see that throttle moving with the wrong thing. And so we got to figure out why that is. And it looks like I just lost my life here. So let's go back over to controls. And it looks like it's very confusing, to be honest, as to how we can get this to work. So let's go back to controls, and let's see if we can figure this out. Partly why I'm streaming this right now is because, oh, this is remap up top. Okay, let's see. Remap the throttle. So we need to remap the throttle. So let's go to Customize Controls, and we're going to go to find throttle. So we'll change that. Menus, flights. Okay, here we go. So let's look for throttle. Free look, quick look, control, flight stick. There we go. Okay, so we're going to look for, tell you, this is almost like Flight Simulator, because I was getting my stuff like configured for Flight Simulator. And it's the same thing. Look at all this stuff you can go through here. So we got a lot to play around with here. So let me see if I can find throttle. Targeting wheel, select target ahead. It looks like everything else is pretty much where I expected it to be. It's just the throttle. So increase engine power, maximize engine power. But we want throttle. Throttle increase, there we go. Okay, so we're going to select this, and there we go. So throttle increase. I have a feeling, though, this may not, let's see what happens. Because it may not keep the position, because that's increase and decrease. But I don't know what's going to happen when I put it in the middle. But let's see what happens. So we're going to save and exit. And then we'll back out here. And let's go and deploy again. It's got to hit button 12. So let's see, 8, 9, 10. Where is button? That's 10. So there's 12 buttons on this thing, and I got to hit button 12 to deploy. So where is button 12? I think it's one of these down here. There it goes. Okay. All right, and now it just froze up on me. What happened? Oh, here we go. Okay. I got to say, it's pretty cool in VR. All right, here we go. It's working. Now it's working. So here, let me switch back to my gamer view here. So there we go. Oh, yeah. This is great. So then to adjust my stuff, so if I wanted to go weapons hot here, there we go. So I got my fancier weapons here. Why don't we fly through that thing right there? Can we do it? Can we do it? Oh yeah, no problem. I just got to figure out the boost. Although I think I've got to go, so if I transfer power, it's the shields, and if I go to the engines here, and I'm not sure what that did. So there's a lot of strategy with this because you have to think about, like, so you have your, your three main adjustments, which is shields, engines, and firepower. And so, for example, let's say I have shields maxed out right now. Watch this thing, like you're gonna lose your weapon power more quickly. So we'll just keep firing away here. This is on. So now my weapons are kind of overheated. This is like a classic space sim kind of thing, right? And you got to wait for those weapons to charge back up, and you can see it's taken a while. But if I go ahead and maximize power to the weapons, they come back quicker, and you also have more power. I'm not sure what I just fired off there. I think those might be countermeasures. So that's, there we go. Okay. So I think we are in good shape here. And somebody, looks like, ooh. Yeah, Jeff just posted up the mappings. Yeah, so I think we're good on the throttle. And now I just got to figure out where the boost is. Now what I could do here is bring in some TIE fighters. So let's deploy an enemy squadron. All right, so now they're coming out after me. So now what we need to do is look in the, there they are. So we need to look in the little radar screen right there. That's where the enemies are. There's a lot of them. And then I can hit a button to select, oh, I think I just fired a missile. So you can select targeting here. And like I said, when we switch over to VR, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because if you're going to play Star Wars, there's only one way to play Star Wars, which is in VR. It looks like I've got good control over the throttle now. So this is how I wanted to play the game last night. So yeah, you need to go the HOTAS route, because that's the way to make this work. We're gonna take this guy out here. Let's get him. This is a lot. They're moving a lot faster than they did last night in the. Let's see. We'll get them lined up here. These are like TIE fighters with shields. That's no fair. I'm the only one that's supposed to have shields. All right, see if we can get this. But you can see how you're just kind of looking at a static thing here, right? So wait until we get the VR going, because now we got this part figured out. I still have to make some adjustments like the boosting and stuff, but all right. So now we got full power to weapons. So we should be able to have a better shot at taking one of these guys out. All right, let's come back around here. I'll give you some audio on this in a minute. You know, I'm just going to turn the volume up on the laptop so you can hear it better. Yeah, I don't like the fact that these guys have shields. They're not supposed to have shields. It's not supposed to be a fair fight. Wait until you see the VR mode, though. It's crazy. All right, so there we go. Yeah, Bill Frost says, that's right, Dr. Disrespect has got to look out for me, because I'm going to be the next big YouTuber here. Now, by the way, when I put the VR headset on in a minute, we are going to be unable to look at chats as they come in. Doesn't this look cool? But yeah, this is going to be the way I'm going to play the game, because I was really struggling with the controls last night on the. I think I have a missile here. I can lock onto him with that. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I think I want to adjust the dead zone on the controller a little bit, because it's hard to do finer movements. Although I think your speed has something to do with it too, because if you slow down, yeah, so if you slow down, you can move in a much more fine way. You know, what's been fascinating about this game is just how. Oh, this is how you change the targets. Perfect. No, never mind. That's not how you do it. Yeah, I got to figure out which button does the targeting. What's fascinating to me about the control in this game is that it's a lot less simplistic. So if you played Battlefront 2, which is based on the same engine as this one, I think I finally got one, which is based on the same engine as this one, that one is a much simpler game to control. This has a lot of depth to the strategy. Like I said, you have different controls for weapons versus shields. I think you can also adjust your forward or back shields in addition to the power. And we're about to get like blown out of the sky here. So it's pretty cool stuff, I think. All right, here we go. We're going to take this guy out. I just got to figure out which button does the... So this is the power modes, and then that's the countermeasures. There's also like a repair button too, which I'm not sure is somewhere. Doesn't it look cool though? I think this is a fun game. Like, it's just awesome, but it's better in VR, so we're going to do that now. Okay, good. We're good. So let's quit this, and we're going to go out to the main menu here. But it's good that it looks like, so we had to do one adjustment. We just had to tell it where to put the throttle part. So that is where it's at. So hopefully we're in good shape there. Yeah, and so far the stream is working nicely too, so I'm happy about that. So now we're going to go get the VR stuff hooked up. So there's a multi-step process to this. And I also made the mistake of not getting my VR drivers updated before we started. So, all right, so there we go. So let me go get the, and by the way, in case you're wondering like what the differences are between the two scenes here, so I have this, but this is actually what we've got. Isn't that funny? Let me grab the VR headset here. So we're going to use the Oculus Quest for this because it's easier and more portable. Let me grab some batteries for the controllers that I was charging. And this thing is always problematic when we're doing a live stream, so hopefully today it will behave itself. And this is a great kind of VR game to play around with because, you know, you're not doing anything other than really just moving your head around. So it's a seated VR experience. And what they did with some of the cutscenes is that you're basically watching it at like a movie. It's like a little movie screen kind of thing that it's doing. So we're going to get the controls set up here. And when I go into the holodeck here, I will not be able to respond to your chats because I won't be able to see them. Although we might install the little chat overlay thing that might enable us to do that. All right. Now, the Oculus Quest, at least the one that I have, is kind of an endangered species at the moment because they have a new one that is coming out in like 2 weeks, which I ordered. So we will be getting that in, and the experience will be about the same. Now, of course, the cable that I put out to connect the Oculus Quest has gone missing, so I got to track that down real quick, so bear with me for 1 second. I have my fancy anchor cable that I use for this, and where did I put it? I put it out specifically on top of the laptop because that was where we were going to attach it to, and I must have moved it out of the way to get started. And now, of course, it is missing. So bear with me here, everybody. I will find it again, and we'll get started. So I have this cable. Here it is. I think that's it. That is, no, it's not it. I have this cable that I bought. It's an anchor cable that works really well with the Quest. Although I'm told now that the USB 2 cable that comes with the Quest also works fine. So if I can't find it in the next 5 minutes, I will grab that one. This is the other cable. So I have a habit of doing this, is I just come in and just like, I'm a bull in a china shop when I'm getting set up. And this is what happens. Let's see if we can find that thing. All right. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to do a little reset here. But the good news is that the stream has been very good, right? We haven't had any glitches yet. I know I'm jinxing myself by saying that. And we shouldn't for the amount of money I'm paying for this internet connection now. So that should alleviate whatever issues we were having before. Where did that cable go? And this is the other problem with USB, is that I have a million USB cables all around me, but not the right one. Hang on one second. I will find it. And we will be getting started here in just a second with that. It's going to drive me crazy. So I had that cable right in front of me. So what I'm trying to do is avoid having to do a firmware update on the Quest headset, because you can now use its USB 2 charging cable, but the USB 3 cables are kind of the ideal. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. Now we're good. Yeah, so this is the cable that that you want. I found to be the best one, at least on a short length. So we're going to plug that in. And sometimes the laptop and the Quest have disagreements as to which one is the best one to use. So we're going to have to poke around with this a little bit until I get it right. So we're going to turn the headset on real quick. And we have a super chat that came in as well, so let me try to get to that. And I'll put it up here on screen, and I'll answer a few others too. Don't worry. You don't just have to pay to play here, folks, but I do appreciate everyone who does contribute. So Thomas, thank you. Now that I have fiber, so that's a good question, Thomas. Yeah, so I am still using the HD Home Run Prime because we're still getting cable TV through my existing setup here. So even though we don't get the internet through that, the coax connection is still here. In fact, when they hooked me up, they actually ran the fiber next to the existing coax. So we're running with that. It looks like everyone says the connection is good today. Mark Dell has a very good idea for his Quest. He got a bright pink cable. That's a very good idea, so you don't lose it. And he was playing this on his Quest last night. So it's good stuff. Coldfire says, is this only streaming on Amazon? No, actually, you can go to YouTube and look up my channel, Lon.TV. So if you want to watch it on your TV, you could do that. I don't know if Amazon's live chat supports Chromecasting yet. So it doesn't sound like you're able to do that. So, all right, so now we're good there. I just got to get the headset booted up here and set my zone. All right, so we're going to create a new Guardian here. You can't see what I see, but I will show you. Put the controllers on the floor, and we'll confirm that. And we're going to switch to a stationary boundary and confirm that. Okay. All right, skip the tour. Okay, so now what I should see on the computer, I haven't plugged this in since the last time we all joined each other. So I'm going to plug this back in now, and it should be recognized for PC VR mode. Yeah, here we go. So what's cool about the Oculus Link mode is that it will, the Quest will work both as a standalone headset and a PC headset, which is just totally awesome. And so what should be happening right now on my laptop is that it should be booting up Steam VR, or it should be booting up Oculus VR, I hope. Yes, Oculus is loading, but I've got to, here, I'll show you what I, what I see here. Let me do the overlay. So it looks like it's got a little thing here. There it goes. Okay, it is up. All right, so why don't I see it? Error occurred. You have pending hardware issue that is preventing me from starting a VR app. All right, we are here. Okay, that's all I need. So we're going to go to Steam VR. And I guess I have to enable Steam VR on Steam in order to get this working. So let's do that real quick. And let's see what happens. Okay, so now we are up and running in Steam VR. And like I said, you all will see something hopefully in a minute here once I get things booted up. And then the laptop is going to go bonkers fan-wise. But that's part of the reason why I bought the laptop that I have, is because, and by the way, you see things that I see things that you don't see right now, so don't worry, we're going to get everything back up and running here in a second. And within the Star Wars game here too, there's no, your hands are not represented in the game, so you have to kind of feel your way around to your controls. So hopefully we'll see how this works. But I'll tell you what, like, this is the way to play this game, will be in VR. And it's just clunky still. There's so many different moving parts that you have to get to work together. But when they all come together, it works pretty nicely. So we'll see what we get. All right, Brian T. found me on YouTube. Great, you can watch it on the thing there. So here's a good question from Mark Dell, actually, that I think is worth talking about, because apparently the Quest initially will not support 90 frames per second. And I don't know about the resolution. I think you will get the benefit of the higher resolution, but you won't have the, and I think you can all see that, right? Yeah, perfect. But you won't get the higher frame rate out of the gate. Okay, so here we go. So now what you're seeing here in the VR mode is, this is how you'll see the cutscenes, is that they're going to appear as these little movies, which is fine. And I have like a really nice pair of Sennheisers that I use. Now let's see if it, yeah, so the HOTAS is still working. So we're going to do just a quick match here. So we'll kind of do what we did before. Oh, actually, it looks like I'm going to play a multiplayer game. Uh-oh. I haven't played multiplayer yet. So let me cancel this real quick. So I think I just want to do a, oops, hang on a second here. So now I see, this is what happens. When you start getting through menus and stuff, it gets really flaky. So let's just do multiplayer and training. So B is cancel. Do I have a B button? I think I'm doing dogfighting. That's fine. So you can be a TIE fighter, but I guess this isn't a multiplayer thing. Let me get out of this because I really want to do the X-Wing. I found the TIE fighter not to be as interesting to me because, let's see, let's go out of here. Hang on one second, everybody. Sorry, I'm just trying to get out of this thing real quick because I'd rather just show you the actual game here. So disable voice chat, go to Hangar. Okay. So let's see if I can figure out how to quit this thing. May as well just play the TIE Fighter one, what the heck. So button 6. All right, I'm just going to go do it this way. So yeah, so the TIE Fighter to me wasn't as compelling because you don't get a full field of vision. So when you're in the TIE Fighter, all you see is kind of, because you have that little window there, and that's all you really see. It's just out the window. And I'm not sure what's happening here. What I want to do is just leave this and go back to something else here real quick. So bear with me, folks. I'm just trying to like leave the actual game here. Oh, I guess we're going to jump in. Okay, so I think something's happening. Let's see how this works. You heard the horn going. Let's see what happens. Jeff Jones wants to know, how do you run the Quest without a PC? So the Quest will, is its own, essentially its own little Android device. So it'll run things natively. All right, so here we go. So this is me. So you initially see it as like a little movie, and then you jump into the cockpit here. All right, here we go. And so as I look around, I can see above me, but like, you don't get a lot of field of view as far as what's going on around you. But the TIE fighter is super fast. And I will say this is definitely stressing my PC out a bit. I'm seeing a lot of frame corrections being made by the VR here. But it looks awesome. Like, you get a real perspective of the cockpit. I mean, if you ever wanted to fly a TIE fighter and really feel what it was like, this is probably the best way you'll ever do it. All right, so we're going to now, this looks like a, oh. Now I'm playing a multiplayer game right now. Oh! Yeah. All right, so let me go back to, let's quit this. I just want to show you the X-Wing. That's really all I want to do here. So let me go, I may just like quit the game and get out of this, because I can't get out of this. All right, let's do one more shot here. So it looks okay, right, everybody? So where's my throttle? And I'm also like playing kind of sideways here, which doesn't help. Oh, they got me again. Yeah, this is not where you go to watch good game playing. And I want to be careful here. I don't want to like get somebody in trouble. Let's see, spectate. Oh, you could spectate the match also. So that'd be kind of fun if you were doing one of these VR things. You could have somebody just kind of being a spectator. All right, let's see if we can target somebody here. Yeah, the one thing I got to figure out is how to get the targeting controls to work. Now I got it figured out. Oh, yeah, there we go. I guess you can't leave until it's over. All right, so that's why. How do I get back into the, so we're going to play in 6 seconds. I'm not doing the team much good here. But one of these days I'll get the hang of it. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put all my power into weapons. And so I immediately notice that my maneuverability has decreased. There we go, here's one. We'll get him. All right. Yeah, so when you have VR with this, it's a totally different experience, and for the better. It's almost like you're in an amusement park ride. That's really how it feels. I mean, you can look around. I mean, it's really remarkable. And for me, like, I always wanted to be the X-Wing pilot as a kid, so it wasn't as great for me to jump into the TIE fighter initially, because that's the first thing you do in the single-player mission. But it's really cool. And like I said, the X-Wing is just a better experience because you see more. Let me make sure you can all still see what I'm seeing. Yeah, we're good. So here we go. We're going to go and take out some rebels here. There's one. I'm going to get that guy. Yeah, I got to really do some adjustments to the controls. I'm moving around a lot. I'm not a very good pilot here, as you can see. And I don't think this is all my fault. It's almost easier when I shut the engines to a lower level. Yeah. I think I got one. Oh! That's the end of that one. Yeah, good stuff, right? So I have to wait for this round to finish before I can like switch to the other side. So it's not good to leave a match when you're in the middle of it. And I'm not sure when this actually ends. All right, here we go again. But the fact that you can kind of look around, I mean, look at that. You can see like the little edges of your TIE fighter and stuff. It's just remarkable. And this is really pushing my little laptop here to the limit. I almost shot one of my own guys there. Yeah, see, I need to spend more time in the tutorial. There's definitely a challenge here in addition to just the dogfighting, the fact that you've got to avoid all these asteroids. And one of the issues with the TIE fighter, again, is you can only really see out your front window or above. But you really can't follow, like the X-Wing gives you a much broader canopy to look through. And so we're watching in a spectator mode right here of the X-Wing. But you know, this guy can see above him, around him. Although my score isn't bad. Like I'm in second place. That's pretty good, right? I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. All right, let's get... all right, there we go. I'm going to get this guy. Whoa. Yeah. That's like their support craft there. Yeah, this TIE fighter is like super hard to control with this stick. I got to make, like I said, this is like adjustment of the sensitivity is going to be important here. Or I'm just a really bad TIE fighter pilot. He's on the other side of that. Okay, he's on the other side of that asteroid. So I can go around here. See how I'm getting the hang of it now? What's amazing though is that the VR is done so well that it almost, it wows you like when you first jump in, and then it's super natural because it's like it just works how you would think it would. You know, as you're looking around, like it just, things are in the right place. It's pretty remarkable. Like I said, the X-Wing is, I think, just the better experience in VR. So where am I now? Now I'm in fourth place on my team. I'm supposed to be doing more with the team also, but I'm a terrible teammate here. Oh! I was flying better before. Part of the issue too is that I need to turn the settings down on this laptop a bit because it's having a hard time meeting the frame rate. I got this one now. He's mine. But you really get a sense of confinement in here too, because like it really feels like you're in this little tiny cockpit. So that's one of the other players right there. This is a multiplayer mode we're in right now. And oh, you got me. I'm good cannon fodder for the rebellion, I think. Yeah, I think what I'd like to do, because somebody's saying like they'd love to jump in and play this, I would love to. Oh, good, we're out of here finally. Oh, now I'm going to be on the rebellion side. Perfect. So, oh no, maybe I'm not. Okay. So let's go out of here. We're going to go back to that training mission just because I think I can demonstrate more stuff that way. So we're going to close this. Oops. And it's a little hard in VR to control on the menus. I think this is more my fault than anything because I have to learn what everything is. But are you sure you want to quit? Yes. Okay, that's it. Now we can do something different. What they don't have though is like so I would love for them to have some DLC where you can kind of play through some of the movie stuff. I think that would be pretty cool. All right, so we're going to go back to multiplayer and training. The story mode is great too, by the way. So let's do a little practice here. And I'll do that. Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll pick the X-Wing now, so you can get a feel for that. This is working great, though, I think. The new connection seems to be working well for everybody. And one thing, too, that I noticed with this, I'm seeing some chatter about the point of view, is I was very surprised that, all right, so I have to hit, oops, I have to hit this button down here to launch, I think. One of these buttons does it. There we go. The point of view is very confining on the TIE fighter. You can't look around all that much. The X-Wing struck me as being, in VR at least, like you're super close to the controls here, as you can see. And I always thought like you would be further back from this. But this feels better modeled to me. So look around, like you've got, you got like the targeting computer over there. And then if I turn around to the back, you can see a R2 droid up there. Now, I think what's happening right now is that I'm seated a little bit lower than is the usual, that is defaulted for this. So I got to figure out how to readjust my VR position here. And there's a control that does that, but I don't know what the button is. So I might just like sit up a little bit higher so you can get a feel for how it's supposed to be. And just want to make sure you can see what I'm seeing. Yeah. So this to me feels better because I can look all around, and then, like I said, if I could reset the position, you can see the droid back there and stuff. I think it's super cool. And you got to feel your way around to get on the controls. And it gets weird because, you're expecting to grab things positionally based on where you're at in the cockpit. But it just feels like the X-Wing just is better. Because again, you get this beautiful viewpoint. But like I said, it feels like, I always felt like the X-Wing fighters were longer for the pilot. And then I can step up here a little bit and you can get a feel for, can I stick my head out the window? Yeah, it doesn't let you stick your head out the window. But this is something that I always thought would be awesome as a, to have like the ability to kind of play this out. And the game's a lot harder than you would think. I was, there's definitely a lot more strategy to it than I anticipated, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what it is. All right, let's see if we can get some enemies to show up here. Oops. Let's see if there's a button I can push to. Okay, there we go. Deploy enemy squadron. All right, here they come. This is all computer players now. And you'll see how it's so much better in the X-Wing. But things move quick. It's a very fast-moving game. And they have shields again. But you can see that, like, I can follow it around a lot better. And so, I'm guessing there's probably Imperial ships that do better than this, than the one we were just playing around in. But the TIE fighter, like I said, it just like, you can only see out the front. And here I've got a better field of view to see what's around me. I can see about not like actually hitting things. And when you're running on a decent rig, the depth and immersion is really good. Like it's, this is all 3D. It feels like you're in a cockpit. And it's so natural just to like look and see where you're going, right? It just works in this one so much better than the TIE fighter. But again, it still feels pretty confining. All right, here we go. See how I'm looking up and I can track them visually? Again, I'm still having some trouble controlling. I got to make some adjustments to this, but But you know, it's funny, like you just find yourself, like what I was just doing, tracking that TIE fighter as it was flying away. It's like this is the kind of stuff that you would do normally, right? If this was a normal activity. But that's what I mean, it's just so cool to have that sense of depth and immersion. And how cool would it be for them to like have I really wanted them to replicate some of the scenes from the movie, which I thought would be a really good way to make this game something complete. I think I got one. So I got to spend some more time learning the ropes of everything. Like I said, I wanted to get through the single player mission first, just to kind of learn that. And I'll play it upstairs on my more powerful PC. We're just on the gaming laptop right now. But I think it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And like I said, I just love the fact that I could like look up there and just see the little R2-D2 guy, just like, you know, it's exactly what you would imagine it looking like. So that is cool. What I need, again, I got to figure out how to recenter the VR control. I think it's this button. One of these buttons should do it. Yeah, I got to figure it out. So yeah, so I got to do a little bit more on the buttons, but there you go. What's also good, now granted, I've been getting, you know, very used to VR, so the motion sensation in VR doesn't feel as disconcerting as it used to for me. It is, you know, if you are prone to motion sickness, I would imagine this would be something that would certainly trigger that. I thought I could fly in there for a second, but. Yeah, so I'm going to play around with this a lot more. I think it's off to a really good start for me, and I'm glad I got the controller working, because it was, you know, I was using the Xbox controller the other night, and it was just not, it was not there for me. So let me see if there's, okay, that's target switching, that's the missiles, and then what is, like I said, you got to feel your way around the buttons here. And see, I can track them all the way around. I just want to be able to touch all these buttons. That's what I want to do. So how do we get that menu that I had up there a second ago back up? Let's see, there's another button here. I got buttons all over this thing. I don't know what does what. Everything is falling off the desk. And, you know, the ships are, you know, performing the way you would expect them to in an arcadey kind of shoot-up thing. But everything moves so fast, so it's hard to really like track your targets because they just move. That's part of the, I think some of the strategy involved with this game is trying to figure out like how to balance all these different settings and getting the ship to configure properly, getting your joystick adjusted. It's probably going to be part of the deal also. So I'm beginning to figure out the controls. This is the targeting toggle here. All right, so we'll give it more weapons here. Let those charge up quicker. That's my missile. I don't know who decided that they should have yeah. All right, here we go. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I meant to shoot a missile at that guy, and I hit the target switch button. So this is the one here that I got to use. There we go. So those guys are kind of defending the support ship. But you see how like much better this is in VR than just 2D? I mean, you got to get the VR. That's the way to go. So there you go. Let's see if we can summon. What button did I push to do that? I want to summon the other stuff that we can summon here. Let's see, flagship. Yeah, let's do the enemy flagship. Let's see, where's he going to come in? So the Star Destroyers are really, here it is. We're going to get totally killed here. Let's power the shields. And so what you want to do on the Star Destroyers is you got to kill these 2 shield generators here on the top. And those obviously take some time to beat down. And you have 2 on the top here. Yeah, I'll give you a view of the scale of it here. And then there's another one on the bottom, and they have like targeting stuff. So in some of the single player modes, like you will, you'll be targeting different aspects. Oh, I can fly into it. Oh, the tractor beam got me. Let's see if we can. Yeah, that's it. Is that cool or what? I mean, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's we're gonna take a little break here, get my eyes back together. So let me go back. I missed a bunch of comments here. So let's take a look. The good news is the stream has not dropped, so my new fancy connection is doing its job. Mark Dell says I think both sides get they get just 4 ships. Yeah, there's 4 ships on each one. Mario's asking, is there any good lightsaber VR games? Yeah, Vader Immortal, I think Mark Dell answered that. Vader Immortal is great. That's a good one. Definitely worth checking that one out for sure. So I'm just making sure I didn't miss any other super chats here. Yeah, Vader Immortal is awesome. I have that, and if you buy it on the Quest, this is one of those games that if you buy it on the Quest, it also becomes available on the PC, which of course will have better graphic fidelity. So that is something for sure you may want to look at. AG says looks cool, but this could definitely give you some motion sickness if you're running it too hard there for sure. Recipe Bob wants to know, is this the first stream with blazing speed? It is. It is. In fact, we're just winding down now because I got everything working that I wanted to get up and running here. How long? Yeah, we're going about an hour and a half already. And Mark Dell said, I didn't get motion sick as I expected since I am still in the game. Watching the line right now is giving me a little motion sickness. He's looking around pretty aggressively. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think you have to get your own sense of motion there. Now, what I could do real quick is show you another game that is not official, which no, they didn't add the HOTAS support yet, but there is an unofficial Star Wars game called, what's it called? Project Stardust, which is worth checking out. And that one was made as an experiment in VR motion sickness. So that's worth looking at. And I'll tell you what, the chroma key works pretty nice on this vMix system. I haven't used it before. And we're using one of those Elgato green screens that you can just kind of pull up from the back there. And yeah, you get, Ryan here says, you get the Quest face. Yeah, so I had to, when I go out now, I got to wear a mask. So I get mask face and Quest face. So that's that. All right. Well, everybody, this was a fun experiment because I wanted to get, first of all, make sure the streaming would work on the new connection, which it does. And right now, we're only sending 12 megabits up or 10 megabits up to YouTube and Amazon, but soon we'll expand beyond that. And I also wanted today, because it's Saturday, it's a fun day. We wanted to get the throttle working a little bit here, so that's been good. I'm going to make some more adjustments to it. You can actually adjust the amount of tension on the controller here with this thing on the bottom, so you can make it tighter or less tighter, as the case may be. And I want to get out of here real quick. This is the one problem, too, when you are running in VR. To get out of the game, you got to go through all this to get out of it. So we're going to go to Options, and I got to get out of it. So you can see that VR was not the primary objective here. So it's a little tough to get out of the menu navigation and stuff. So I've been finding I've been jumping around a bit from Here, I'll pull this back up here. So I've been jumping around a bit, taking the headset off, seeing where I'm looking, that kind of stuff. The story mode is a lot of fun. I've been playing around with that a little bit. Like I said, I just need to do more tweaking, as you have to do with all these games, just to get the performance levels set. And I've got a 2080 Ti upstairs. And so that one works great, better than the 2080 inside of the laptop here. So I'm going to need to play around with that a little bit more too. So yeah, so you know, it's good. It's good, it's fun. So we'll have to see where it goes. Hopefully soon, yeah, so the Quest 2 is coming out very shortly. So this is the Quest 1. And if you buy the Quest 2, you're not going to get initially that much of a difference because although the Quest 2 has a higher resolution, in fact, I think the Quest 2 has a higher resolution than my HTC Vive Pro upstairs. But over time, they'll bump the frames per second up in the headset. And initially, it's only going to do the 75 that this one does, but it's capable of 90. But the link cable is not going to support 90 on day one. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But I think, though, from a price standpoint, the Quest 2, if you're watching on Amazon, I'll pull it up right now. And I have it linked in the video description, so you can go and check it out. The Quest 2 is $299. So it's not that expensive. And, well, you know, relatively speaking, because the value proposition, I think, is pretty good on the Quest 2. That's my green screen going back down. The value proposition is pretty good on the Quest 2 because you get a self-contained VR system along with the ability to hook it up to your PC. It's just that initially it won't run as high of a frame rate as the PC headsets do. So PC headsets typically go to 90 frames per second, and you need a computer that can drive it at that rate of speed. This one at the moment does 75, and that's what I think you'll get out of it initially as well. And you won't notice it at all until you try a 90 hertz headset, and then you go back to 75, and then you notice it's not as smooth. So that's worth checking out. Aaron Johnson asks a question about vMix. So in case you're wondering, this is what we use to do the stream, which is vMix. And I'm going to turn off my chroma key now because we're not using it. So is there something less expensive? So you could use OBS. That's definitely less expensive because it's free. But what's nice about vMix is that if you want to try it out, I think they give you a 90-day trial right now, so you can play around with it and see what works best for you on that. And yes, so I've got the Anker power line cable, and I have the yeah, that's the power cable I'm using. Jesse wants to know what was the deal with the green screen. We were just streaming some games. So if you rewind back on the live stream, you will see I was doing the gamer thing where you appear in the corner, and you have the thing going. Oops, hang on a second, folks. I'm just trying to figure out why I am not able to get back to the Amazon stream. That's weird. Did my Amazon stream cut out? Because I'm still streaming to it, but it's not letting me in to monitor the chat because it says another device is doing it. That's weird. Return. There he goes. Okay, we're back in. All right, there we go. Still here. Perfect. Okay, thank you, Armin. So we're still good there. Russell Lachard wants to know what VR equipment am I using. So right now we've got the this is the Oculus Quest, which has been discontinued. There's a Quest 2 that's coming out very shortly. I've got all this stuff, with the exception of the cable, linked right now in the Amazon stream that you can find by clicking in the video description. So the Quest 2 is coming out next week, which is the upgrade to this one. And I think it's a great value. Again, it's going to be $299. You'll get higher resolution. It'll run up to 90 hertz. And the Quest 2, as is the Quest, are self-contained VR headsets, but they can also be connected to a PC with a USB cable. And I believe now the USB cable it comes with will work with the PC without having to buy another one. So wait until it comes out and go for it. I haven't seen the Quest prices drop either in anticipation of the Quest 2 coming out. So if you can wait a week, go for it, because I think that's the way to go. And then the PC that we're hooked up to right now is it's a little gaming laptop. This is a Lenovo Y740. It is no longer being made. The new one is the Legion 7. And it's got a 2080 Max-Q in there, which is, it's not going to rival a desktop GPU, but it'll do basic VR. It's good enough to do demonstrations like we did today. And that one's been working pretty nicely. So it's good. I think it's good. Upstairs, I've got, a PC that I built that has the 2080 Ti, which of course now is obsolete as well, and a i9 processor. And this certainly ran a lot better up there last night than it did down here. But it's easier just because I'm all set up to stream down here, so it was easier to do it that way. But the VR stuff is great. I think it's awesome. And then Flight Simulator is going to do an update a little bit later for VR as well, the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's something else to look forward to. But I think the Quest is a really good value, especially the new one at that price, because you get a PC headset, and then if you just want to, the games that run natively on the Quest will surprise you by how good they are for the fact that it's running off of what is essentially a high-end smartphone processor. So these have Qualcomm Snapdragons inside. I forgot which one it is that they have on the new one. But Vader Immortal on this, which is the lightsaber game, is remarkably good. They have hand tracking on this that you can track your hands just by moving them. Not a lot of things support that yet. And then again, you plug it into the PC. And for me, I was totally blown away by the value proposition of the original Quest, and I think the new one's an even better deal. So I would definitely check that out. And Mark has a very good point, like how obsolete. What's funny too is when you think about the notion of obsolescence. Here's what's weird is that we reviewed recently, and you can check it out on the channel, and we've got them on Amazon also. We reviewed recently the Legion 7 laptop, and the one they sent had the 2070 Max-Q, and it's certainly a nicer upgrade from the Creature Comforts. It had a slightly better keyboard, it's got more display options and everything else, but the performance is pretty much the same, So yes, there's a new model, but it's not all that much faster. And that's been kind of the theme I've been seeing just within consumer electronics in general, is that something new comes out, but it's not light years better than the prior edition. When you think back to the 90s, like you bought your computer and then a week later something, 5 times more powerful came out. We're not seeing a lot of that progression. Even on the GPUs, the graphic cards for the computers, it took NVIDIA probably 3.5, 4 years to come up with something radically faster than the prior generation as we jumped from the 1080s and stuff to the 3070s. So it's, it's interesting how that works. So we'll have to keep an eye on all of that. One of the good things is we get a lot of loaner units into reviews, so you can check those out. I can check them out as they come available and see if there really is a big update. Mark Dell says that VR signups for a flight sim started last night, so that's definitely something to look at. And I would imagine those will be significantly strenuous requirements or arduous requirements, just based on what it takes to run Flight Simulator in 2D, let alone VR, right? So I think that's going to be a big jump. Mark Dell was going to upgrade the Surface X to the new version, but now it's just a little CPU upgrade with no specs. Just yeah, that's what I feel like there's pressure in the industry to release something new every year, because you see the product cycles. It kind of runs through the fall into Christmas, and yes, it's a new product. Yes, the industrial design might change, but is the computer any different? What will be a big difference will be when Apple releases their new ARM-based MacBooks. That's a big change, right? That's a big difference. But generally, if you bought a Mac, so perfect example, the MacBook that I use is my kind of daily driver, the MacBook Pro. I bought that in 2016. Yeah, 2016, right around Thanksgiving when it came out. And it's been fine for me. Yes, they have new models, but I don't see, for what I do, I don't see a need to keep updating. And this laptop, I mean, we'll be using this, I can guarantee you we'll be using this 2 or 3 years from now, because it's perfectly fine. It's very powerful. You know, maybe if the VR stuff really becomes more prevalent, you know, that might warrant something faster that I can keep on the desk here. But I was very happy with this. You know, this is a very, you know, again, it's not going to be 2080 desktop equivalent performance, but it's something small enough that to do a stream like we just did today, it's nice to have that. So, you know, I don't see the need to, the continuous upgrade need. And I'm fortunate because I can evaluate this stuff and see, you know, what it's like from one year to the next. So if you were in the market for a new one today, yeah, go with Legion 7. But if you're in the market for one today and you find a Y740 for a good price, I think it's worth, you know, considering that, because the performance won't be all that different. So that's my take on that. All right, everybody. So yeah, I think it's been a fun little stream here to do all this VR stuff. And Mark has another good point here, that he wants to break the streak of constant upgrading. It's not healthy. It's also not good economics either. But it's like I said, I'm lucky because I can try this stuff out. And a lot of times when you see something new come out, it's like, ooh, I got to have it. But then when you actually get it, it's like, it's not that much different. So it's fun stuff. All right, everybody, I'm going to go take my dog out for a walk, and I think I might take a couple hours just to chill out. And tomorrow, I might be streaming again tomorrow, because I did get in the new Chromecast. So I thought we would play around with that. That's the Chromecast that has Google TV built in. So that's worth a look. I don't think they sell that on Amazon yet. And then I just got a whole bunch of stuff. I got so much stuff in, I can't even tell you. My list is a mile long. And that's the time of the year that we're in, when all these new things come out. So that's where we go. So I want to thank, by the way, our super chatters before we head out here. We had a couple of them that popped in, which now my thing is not telling me who they are. Hang on. We did have a bunch of super chatters, and I can't find their names now. So we had, Brian Parker came by with $2. Thank you, Brian, for your super chat. We also, let me scroll up through the list here. We had Thomas, Ann Fang, thank you very much for your super chat. And there was a couple of others too, but for some reason, let me refresh my screen here. That's probably why I can't see it. I'm on my little MacBook, and it gets bogged down. That's why I'm hoping that they make a little 12-inch ARM MacBook. I would love to have that as an upgrade. I think that would be awesome. So if I go back to view, here we go. So we have Thomas, Brian Parker, thank you again, Weira, and T-Dub. Thank you all for your super chats today. And yeah, we'll be back again soon, everybody. Stay safe and healthy. I got my flu shot today. Where's my Band-Aid? It's on one of my arms here. The arm that's sore. The Band-Aid fell off already. My sore arm. I just noticed how sore it is. I got my flu shot today, so hopefully I won't get the flu. And everyone else is doing well and healthy, and we'll just do our best. That's all we can do. So good. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I will be back again before you know it. And I'm loving my new connection. Should we do another speed test before we close out? Because I did promise everybody I would do another speed test. So let's do that real quick. So hang on. Let me pull up my Mac screen here again. And I can run these speed tests from my router directly, so we get like the shortest hop even internally. So I'll pull up display 1 here on my Mac, and let me just get the speed test queued up here. All right, and zoom in a little bit. All right, you ready? Here we go. And again, I still have another gigabit on top of this. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Oh, look at that. We bursted like to 3. You know, once it settles down, you get a better feel for it. But, I mean, so just to put this in perspective, my download right now, which is 2013.2 on this test, used to be 400. My upload, which is right now 1860.8, used to be 12. And then on top of this, this is only one connection that I have. I have 2. So the other one that they hooked up is another gigabit. So I have another 1,000 on top of this. I don't even know what to do with that yet. So I went from having not enough bandwidth to more than I know what to do with. Oh yes, Jeff, I did promise that. So we're going to do another tour of the equipment closet, and then I'm going to call it quits for today. So let me pull up my NDI camera here, and I will show you what the equipment closet looks like. Let's go adjust camera settings here. And sometimes the NDI on vMix crashes, so if I disappear, it's because it crashed. It's not the connections problem. So I'll connect my iPhone again. Are we live? There we go. Okay, all right, so here we go. So now I'm going to walk into the equipment room. And by the way, what I had to do also, so this is my streaming computer that I built, and I had to install a 10 gig Ethernet card on it because I only had 1 gig on the motherboard. Now, pardon the messy wiring. It is on the list of things to do. So let me give you the tour one more time before we close out. So what they added to the equipment rack is this Juniper enterprise grade fiber switch gateway, whatever. It's got redundant power, as you can see. And you'll also notice that there's not much plugged into it because nothing is used on here beyond this port, which is, this is my gigabit symmetrical connection, which I'm not using because I don't need it at the moment. So if I plug this into a router, I've got a whole separate internet connection at 1 gigabit in both directions. The orange fiber here is plugged into a little SFP jack. This is the LAN interface, so, or the WAN interface, I should say. So this orange cable goes into my UDM Pro, into another SFP connector. So this is what connects the gateway to the router. So this is the WAN port on the router. And at the moment, my router doesn't support 2 internet connections. It does as like a failover, but it wasn't ideal. I wanted the ability to route traffic depending on what I was doing to one connection or the other. And I can't do that at the moment with this router based on the current firmware. So at some point in the future, we'll have that capability. So I may start reviewing routers again just because I have like a separate internet connection I can use for test things. I won't have to double NAT anything. It'd be kind of fun maybe to start doing that again. So at the moment, we're just going to leave that one unused. And then the yellow cable here is what goes back out to Comcast right there. And that goes into this little thing here. This is kind of like just a connection point. And the fiber from the street is spliced into this, and the yellow cable is inside here, and it's connected up to the fiber that was spliced earlier. And this little yellow cable, the laser in that thing, the light from that laser goes like 15, 20 miles. Isn't that crazy? Because there's nothing between me and the head end for Comcast. That's what's going on there. It's insane. And then for the local network, because remember now we've got 2 gigabits symmetrical that we have to deal with, right? So most of the time when you have Ethernet, you have gigabit, like I have here. This is my gigabit internal home network, right? So anything plugged into this switch can only use half of the bandwidth that I have available to me. So we got to find a way to make use of what we have. And so a while back, just to start playing around with multi-gigabit, I had bought this ProSafe switch. This is a Netgear switch that I bought. And this is a 5-port 10 gig switch. So what I've got here, and I'm going to actually be swapping this out soon because Ubiquiti has another one that I'm going to go with instead. But I have a direct attached copper cable, which is connected to the LAN SFP plus port on the router. So this is a 10 gigabit backbone, and that's how I'm able to make use of the speed that I have available to me. But everything I plug into this has to be multi-gigabit. So the computer that we're on right now is connected via 10 gigabits with that card I put in. So it can make use of the full speed. And then this white cable here is going upstairs, and I have a 10 gig switch up there. And then I have my gaming computer on a 10 gig card, and then I've got a 10 gig Thunderbolt card for or a Thunderbolt thing for my Mac. So that's connected up to use the full speed. And then this cable goes to a little sitting room on the other side of the house. And there I've got a 2.5 gig switch. And so I actually run right now like a 30-foot cable to my laptop in the kitchen off of this leg so I can upload at full speed. So I've got to do some adjustment here to get the network upgraded. And the problem is that most of my wiring in the house is Cat 5e. And you can go 2.5 gig at a pretty good distance on Cat 5e, but 10 gig, you've got to be careful on the distances to be able to get it to work reliably. So the run upstairs is actually really short. So there's not a lot of Cat 5e driving that upstairs connection, so that's going to work. But for this other cable out to the farther portion of the house and all the other stuff, I got to be a little more careful about it. So I'm going to keep playing around with it, see what works, what doesn't. But right now, it's been working great. So I am super excited with the connection that we now have. So it's just going to be a matter of now, like, the fun project part of this is how do we take advantage of all the bandwidth as opposed to, you know, what they're doing. So yeah, so that's what we've got. So I'm going to do a video on the wrap-up on Monday about it and talk about some of the early experiences with it. So we'll see where it goes. Jeff Jones here says that the Juniper switch is like, oh, yeah, for a residential installation, it's total overkill. So what they told me is that this is kind of like the secret menu item. It's called Gigabit Pro from Comcast. And so it's for people like me that just can't stop complaining about their connection. It's, the cost is about $320 a month. It is a Metro Ethernet router, as Red Techie brings up here. And it's really designed, like that's what you would put into a university. You know, that would be, you know, the connection. And it can drive, I think, 10 gigs or more. So it's pretty crazy. But the complexity right now, as Frank brings up, is the fact that I now have to figure out how to make the best use of this speed. Now, for my kids on their iPads, no big deal, right? I mean, they don't need that much performance. But if I'm uploading videos, a lot of times I would do my uploading. I have you know, kind of a center island kitchen, and I like to sit on my laptop and do stuff there because I'm around the family. And if I'm uploading, it's not a mentally, you know, difficult task to do, so I can just be present. But the Wi-Fi is only so fast, right? So yes, I went from 12 to 400 megabits on the Wi-Fi. I was maxing out around 400 megabits per second, but typically getting around 250 or so. And that's AC Wi-Fi, just based on my distance to the access point and all that kind of stuff. So I've got to figure out now to get the upload speed. I'm probably going to I have to have some electrical work done anyhow. So when the electrician's here, I'm just going to have them wire up a bunch of Cat 7 or 8 drops in different places, just so I have a spot to go. So we'll see what happens with it. But I think from the standpoint of productivity, it's already, I mean, it's like a relief, you know, because I was so frustrated having to deal with the speed of the uploads. We can send video now to more places, so everything's going to be better. The streaming is better. I mean, this has been rock solid, day one. So yeah, that's where we're going to end up. So more to come on that. And I appreciate everybody's support over the years with this. This has been a fun story. And I feel like it's like the end of a journey. We've managed to get the connection to solve the problem. So now we have to have a new problem to solve, right? It's like the season finale. The problem has been solved. Now what? So I need a new problem. I'll have to think of one. I'm sure there will be one. So we'll see where it goes. Recipe Bob says it's more than his car payment. Yeah, this is an expensive proposition, but again, it's you know, it's $300 a month, but it is needed for my productivity. And for me, time is money. And I'm happy to pay for something that results in less aggravation. So that's why we're doing that. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go take the dog out for a walk. And wow, my arm is super sore from that flu shot. So I'm going to rest my arm. And we will be back again very shortly. So thank you all for tuning in. And I am, yeah, I'll share some of the, you know, I learned some more things about how this connection's set up. So I'll talk about that as well. And we'll go from there. So have a good evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks again to the Super Chatters who contributed. And I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye-bye.